Tease it.
Welcome to the 8th FRT Podcast. I believe it is the 8th, and I go through this every single bloody time. I'm like, is it the 8th? Is it the 7th? Is it the 10th?
It is the 8th.
It is the 8th. I've got it written down on my piece of paper this time, so I know it's the 8th, really. Well, we'll start off with this podcast with some sad news. Unfortunately, due to working, Wiz will no longer be able to be a host of the podcast until summertime, maybe. So that's really sad.
We love you, Wiz.
Oh, we love you, Wiz.
We do.
And we'll miss you.
You're here in spirit with us.
We'll miss you, and we'll miss your awesome mic that picks up everyone else.
Yeah.
Forever. That makes editing a nightmare. No, but we will miss you. Just not your mic.
We're gonna have to find someone else to make puns now.
Aww.
Well, you could do that. You can be the official pun
I
maker.
can't make puns. I just make annoying noises and everyone tells me to shut up. That's my role. That's
Okay.
what I do.
Before we start, I should probably introduce everyone. I'm Michael. We've got with us a guest called Jess today.
Hi.
Hi, Jess. Welcome to the FRT Podcast. How are you?
I'm okay.
We've got Ali.
Hey.
And we've got Rue.
Hi. Saving the best till last.
Yep, always.
Yeah, always.
You're my favourite. Are you doing anything for Mother's Day this weekend?
What?
What was that noise?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Did you forget about it?
Fuck.
No.
Is it really?
It's
probably
in
not
the
for
UK.
you. Yeah.
Oh.
I completely didn't forget.
Oh.
Don't even look at me.
Oh my God,
Don't talk to me.
You didn't
I
forget at
actually
all.
had plans to go and visit Jules that day as well, and then someone was like, "Rue, you
my
can't go.
God.
It's Mother's Day." And I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, you have to be nice to your mum and buy her things.
I'm always nice to my mum. I'm a ray of sunshine.
Aww.
Yeah, I'm probably getting my mum the I can never say her name. Sarah McLachlan.
In the
But that album, her new album.
of the
She has a new
angel.
album?
Yeah, and I've got this massive card, and I've got a thing to put in the card, which is like the certificate of the best mum.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I just feel like a bad son now.
Oh,
Damn.
Rue, you should get a giant box, one that you can like fit into, and then when you present
I
it to
got
your
you
mom,
me,
yeah, here I am.
Yay.
It's a possibility.
Aw.
I'm not going to rule it out. I am fairly great.
I think you should credit me if you do go through with that idea.
Just
I'll record it. I'll record it for you, Alan.
yeah.
Yes.
Just don't take a page out of Dick in a Box, for God's sake.
Oh,
Oh God, what?
well, that's technically what it would be. I'm the dick, and I'd be in a box.
True.
You're not meant to agree with me, Michael.
Wow.
Oh God.
Michael, please.
Note to everybody: never get your mom dick in a box for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
please.
Do not do it.
Don't do it. Oh God.
Oh,
We're extra giggly this time. I like it.
Giggly. We're always. It's like a magic combo of Ali and Rue.
Oh God, yes. Every time Rue comes onto the tiny chat, my face brightens a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
my life brightens a little bit having you in it.
Oh.
Anyways, moving on.
Moving on. I want to talk a bit about.
Moving on.
Moving on. Yes.
God damn it.
God damn it, Barb.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I want to talk a bit about Child of Light, which is a new cool RPG. Basically.
I've heard of it. I haven't actually looked it up yet.
Oh, it's really cute. I
Yeah.
posted the trailer on my Tumblr and it got like 40,000 notes. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Are you going to get a free copy from all of that advertising?
I totally should. Like, you're welcome. Ubisoft. Like 40,000 people. That's a lot. But no, it's super cute. It's about this little girl, and she's goes on an adventure, and she's super cool.
Yeah. She's got a little fairy like Navi.
That sounds really cool, actually.
No, it looks super cute. Like the it's pretty beautiful as well.
Mm-hmm.
I love pretty games.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures. It looks really nice.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game, and she's a little badass as well. And it's turn-based combat, so it's kind of like Final Fantasy inspired kind of stuff,
Yeah.
like
Ooh.
early Final Fantasy.
I like the trailer a lot. It looked a little bit like a storybook almost.
Yeah, it is supposed to be like a playable poem, so
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds
cool.
really, really cool.
It's
I'm gonna have to
really
look that up.
cute. It's really,
also
really cute.
it's a download only title, so it's only $15, and I think it's only like 12 or 13 pounds. So
Ooh, can you get it on Steam?
yes, you can get it on pretty
Yes!
much everything apart from Max. Ruru, you might be a bit out of luck
Why?
because it's apart from Max, everything apart from Max.
Oh my god, are you actually... You're...
No, I'm not joking. It is literally everything but Max.
Don't fuck with me! Why is this happening?
Oh
No,
no.
it's it's on PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One,
Oh.
Wii U,
My
and
face is literally just crumpled.
Steam for a PC, but unfortunately no Mac.
Oh no. Sorry, Rue.
I'll buy it for 360 and then play it when I'm home.
Yes, you can
Because
do
I've
that.
been doing that. I've been doing that with Bioshock.
Oh
I've
god,
been seeing
Rue's
that.
been
I've
like
been seeing your updates
Yeah.
on that.
My updates.
Your updates.
My updates.
Your
updates.
updates.
I got to a certain part and it just went to shit really, really quickly and everything's gone downhill and it's amazing, but my head's just like, why?
So Rue's been flailing about BioShock all over Facebook from what I've been seeing, so
Yeah.
It was also all over Tumblr, like I have a tag for it now.
Yeah. I've been watching
Oh.
you. I've been watching you flail all over it.
It's and like the new DLC for Bioshock Infinite came out on the 25th.
oh
I
yeah.
hear it's good.
I can't play it yet. I made a promise that I wouldn't play it until I finished Bioshock, and the person that I promised, like they sent me a message after they'd finished it, so I woke up to it, and it just said, "You really cannot play it until you finish Bioshock. It will ruin the whole ending
Oh,
in
no.
5 minutes." And I was like, "Oh no!"
Oh my god.
Oh. And like now my achievements are suffering because I look like I haven't done as well in it as I have done because I have.
Yeah, I hear there's some issues with the new Bioshock DLC though.
I heard there was as well. Someone was saying that the fact that it's stealth mode, like they're having issues with the audio or something, so it sounds like Splice is very close when they're in opposite rooms or something.
Yeah, I meant more like social justice issues. I hear there's some slurs and stuff
Oh.
that are being used
Oh.
that shouldn't be used, but whatever. I mean, I haven't been paying too much attention. Just someone I follow was talking about it. Anyway, moving on from that, with the Child of Light stuff, I want to talk about like female representation in video games.
Yes,
Because like I got about like I don't know 100 people on because the post got like 40,000 notes. I got maybe 100 people like, oh, female representation isn't a problem in video games. Here's a list of video games with female protagonists, and it was like the same 5 games like every time.
Yeah.
That should probably, if it's only 5
Right.
games, that shows that there's a fairly like big issue with female representation.
The existence of one is enough to prove it.
Exactly, and like the fact that they're all quoting like the same 5 games at me again proves that we have an issue.
Like,
Yeah.
it's one thing to, like, understand and recognize the games that do have, like, the female protagonists and everything, but, I mean, you should also take notice of the fact that you've been probably repeating the same games over and over again, and that should probably
Yeah.
indicate to you, compared to the million other games with just male protagonists who are the saviors and the strong ones and better than the women in the video games and all of that shit.
Well, they're arguing the wrong thing, though. Like, I remember with the Anita Sarkeesian stuff, people were arguing to her that, oh, but look at all these men you have to save in these games. It's like, that wasn't the argument. And the argument here is that there isn't that there are no female protagonists, it's that there are not many female protagonists.
Yeah,
But then you have those people going, but female gamers only represent blah 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 amount of the gaming population, and
Oh
they
my
clearly
God.
haven't got their facts right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's roughly half. It's about 48%. So yeah, I mean, like the ones that were really quoted a lot was like Drake. I don't know how to say it. Drakengard 3 or Drakengard.
Yeah.
3, which was like, if you look at some of the characters' designs, it's not great.
Yeah.
Because more important than like just female protagonists is like non-sexualized female protagonists.
Yep.
Mhm.
And another one was Tomb Raider, and if you look at Tomb Raider's origins, it's not too bad. It's not too bad these days, but like I remember when like the original Tomb Raider, and she was just like these blocky breasts.
Yeah.
That's all.
But Michael, don't you know that's all women are? They're just boobs. Come on now. Don't
Boobs
make
and
them into
hips.
fully formed people.
Yep.
And then there was Mirror's Edge, which was actually kind of a shitty game.
Parkour.
Yeah, but
God.
I've played it, so I actually have a fondness in my heart for Mirror's Edge because it was the first game I got with my Xbox 360 because it
Aw.
came with the Xbox 360.
Right.
But yeah, it's not the best game in the world.
I found it frustrating, the gameplay itself. Like, the game, the storyline was great, but it gave me a headache. Like, and I
exactly.
didn't even fucking finish it. I was just like, I was literally on the last mission, and I kept dying. I was on the easiest, like, difficulty possible, and I literally threw my controller down. I was like, fuck this! I'm turning the game back into GameStop. I'm not dealing with this shit anymore.
Playing Portal gives me headaches. I'm not sure what it is. I
think it's the first person, like, POV.
I don't think it's the first person view. I think it's the fact that when I play it, like when I load it up, it changes the colour of my screen so it's more blue or something, and it messes with my head a lot and makes me like hurt.
Yeah.
Good game though.
Speaking of Portal, that's another one that came up a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
the
would
thing
do.
that annoys me about Portal though is that she's not on any of the covers.
She doesn't talk either.
And
she
doesn't
says
talk.
nothing.
So if you didn't know, then you could assume that she's actually a man. So and I bet plenty of people did.
Chell's great though.
Yeah, Chel's brilliant.
Yes.
But yeah, she doesn't talk. She doesn't have dialogue. She's not really a fully fleshed out character.
Isn't it, like,
particularly.
canon that she's mute?
Yeah, it's canon that she's
I
mute, so that's cool.
don't know if it is. I've heard that it might just be that she doesn't want to talk or speak
Right.
to GLaDOS
Yeah.
or give her the satisfaction or something.
Um,
I'm not sure if she's
well,
canon.
they did the same thing with what's his face in Half-Life.
Right, yeah. Gordon Freeman.
Gordon Freeman. And I did think about the comparison and how about the both first person and how I don't really blame them for portraying Portal the way that they did because they'd already done it for Half-Life. But then I thought about the fact that Gordon Freeman was plastered across all of the Half-Life covers, so it was clear who you were playing. Whereas the Portal covers don't feature her at all. Chell, I mean.
Yeah. No, there's the concept art that has Chell, which is, I think, is like the first time that she's ever appeared.
No, you're right. On Portal 2, it's robots, and then Portal, it's just the man going down the hole, I think.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy was another one that came up for you, right?
Yeah, Final Fantasy came up. I don't really play Final Fantasy anymore, so...
Yeah. It was
can't really
alright. I tried out Final Fantasy 13, which is, I'm pretty sure is the one that probably came up with Lightning. She's pretty cool. Like, I personally connected with her because she reminds me a lot of, like, my own character that I made that's similar in personality. But I didn't get through the game enough to make a full judgment on her as a character because the gameplay, I just kept dying. And again, I did what I did with Mirror's Edge and threw my controller down.
I'm just like, nope, fuck this.
Portal 2, there are 2 designs for Portal 2's box that does have her on them.
Alright, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I think they used the robot one more predominantly.
Yeah, I think they did use the robot one. I think these were possible ones that they didn't end up using, which is a bit annoying because they're actually really good.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
And the other one that came up was The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Which technically she's not a protagonist, she's a like dual protagonist. Or deutagonist, I think they're called. But
That's a cool word.
Yeah.
But to their credit, I like her character a lot, and they flipped their shit when she was removed from covers and that. So shout out to that studio for being cool.
Yeah, and they also she's a queer character.
Yes, she is. She is a gay woman.
No, did anyone try to bring up to you that sometimes you can pick if you're a female character, but you can pick like one from a group of like 10 men?
Yeah, they brought up. I mean, I just mentally disregarded the ones where they brought up where you could.
But they always do.
Where you could play with as a woman or a man. Like a Mass Effect was brought up a lot.
Yeah.
because you can play as either. But I wasn't really talking about games where you can play as either. I was talking about games where you could play specifically as women.
Specifically.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of games where you play specifically as men.
And even with like the Mass Effect where you can choose the femshep, they still displayed the male shep a lot more.
Yeah, and they also sexualize her a little more. But
Yeah.
having said that, I do like the fact that it's a series where you can play as a female character and not have the story significantly altered in any way.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate that. Yeah. Then there was the fact that I was talking about the fact that games with female protagonists aren't pushed as much by advertising. And it kind of goes into a loop because they say that games with female protagonists don't do as well, so they don't push them as hard. And because they don't push them as hard, they don't do as well. And that was actually talked about by BioWare, I think, or someone from BioWare in a recent article, which I will link dump.
Yeah. I know that somebody brought it up on E3 when all the next-gen consoles came out, when they were talking, because it was with the next-gen consoles, they came out with, like, a shit ton of new games, too. And that was from last year, I think, and then there was that specific phrase said where it was, like, female protagonists don't do as well. And then there was, like, this whole, like, blowout on Tumblr with all, like, female protagonist main games listed and their succession, like with like how many copies were sold, how much money the companies made, etc., etc., etc. And I was like, well, that's like a good number to prove because, you know, these are these people that are coming out with the consoles in which we are going to play these games on that are saying some fucking ridiculous bullshit like that.
And you see the issue with all sorts of things, like with
Right.
movies with female protagonists.
Right, when we get them, we buy them. It's just we don't get them.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is that I wonder how many of you saw Gravity?
I haven't. It's
did
going to be
not.
too disorienting for me to watch. I'll be too terrified.
Okay, it was really good, right? But they build George Clooney as the main character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, spoiler. He dies within
Spoiler.
like the first like half an hour or so.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stuff about how like they had to bill him as a first character, otherwise people wouldn't show up and see the movie. But if you look at the figures of Sandra Bullock, has actually done better in movies than George Clooney.
Yeah.
She's worth more. She's gotten more views, and
I really like Sandra Bullock as an actress. She's great.
Have you guys seen The Heat? It's fucking
I've
amazing.
been dying to.
The what?
No.
Oh, it's
I just
so
like
funny.
how 90s she is. She's just kept her 90s kind of like wit and that sort of style of joking that, I don't know, she's never like gone beyond that, but I kind of like that about her, so.
Yeah.
I don't tend to watch, like, films with people in them as much. I watch animated things all the time.
Oh, that's
I love
great,
animated
though.
things.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I find them so much more interesting to look at.
Well, that's your preference, you know? That's just what you like better.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also a big kid. I think is the real reason.
I was kind of pissed that Frozen won an Oscar though.
Oh, is that the whole thing about they were saying that the Academy didn't really watch many of the animated films?
They didn't watch what's his name's film. I can't remember his name because I haven't really seen any of his films. But I was just super bitter that they didn't put Pacific Rim in for the special effects.
No.
I mean,
I
they had
haven't seen Pacific Rim.
Oh,
I
it's
still haven't
so
seen it.
good. I mean, like, it's not the best movie in the world, and I wouldn't have expected it to go up for Best Picture because it's a movie about giant robots fighting giant monsters. It's not gonna happen.
It's
But,
so good.
It is literally Gundam.
Yeah, but like the special effects on it were amazing, and
Yeah.
like if they can put the Lone Ranger in for special effects, like
Oh, yeah.
If they can put the Lone Ranger in for anything, come on.
Is that the one that had the
Johnny Depp, yeah.
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 Racism,
As a Native
yeah.
American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't want to get too much into the Oscars because I never watched them myself, and
No,
I
neither.
Oh, I don't watch
Don't
them. I
really
just look
bother.
up the results and get
Right.
mad later.
This
Yeah,
is the one
yeah.
year I didn't pay attention. I didn't go to the movies this year.
Yeah.
I see all these movies every year, and this year I was just totally dropped the ball.
No, I see. I'm really bad. I actually got a warning from my ISP for torrenting them.
Oh my
No,
god.
I go to theaters. I'm a big theater. Well, I'm a filmmaker, so like it's kind of what I do.
I love the cinema, but I can't afford it as a
Well, no,
rest
it's
Yeah.
at the moment.
It's not just that I can't afford it, it's just that the issue is that a lot of the movies aren't released in the UK by the time the Oscars comes out.
Right.
Like, most of them. So I have to, because I want to see them before the Oscars happen. I
Right.
torrent them, and then if I like the movie, I go and see it later, so...
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I don't spend much money, period. So, like, when I do, I go to the movies. That's like, I don't buy big game systems or video games. Like, I go to the movies. So,
Yeah, I love movies. I go to the movie every fortnight with my mum.
well, I used to date a British guy, and he said that the movies there were really expensive too.
Nope, they're actually less expensive than they are in the US.
Or was
Really?
it concessions that were expensive?
Oh god. Oh
Concessions
god,
are
like
pretty
the
bad.
amount for popcorn and
Yeah.
drinks is ridiculous.
Like, it's £7 for a movie here.
But how much is it to get like popcorn? There was something he was saying that was really prohibitive.
It's
Um,
about that.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
like
ridiculous.
£3 for popcorn and then like £2 for a drink, so it
That
can get...
doesn't-
What?
That doesn't sound expensive.
No.
No, that's expensive.
What?
to-
We
I
have
thought it
to
was
pay
more
like
though, actually.
$11
It
for
is-
medium
I think
popcorn.
hang on, I'm gonna look up Odeon
It
now.
is so
Wait.
expensive.
Oh, it's
in
more expensive
here.
in Odeon, probably. I'm talking about the White River stuff.
Well,
Oh,
then I guess
God.
I just don't know what I'm talking about.
No, it is. I think it's more expensive than £3.
It might be in the Odeon, but like the St. Austell and the Weybridge ones, it isn't. Like, because they're different cinema chains, so...
Oh God.
Like, and also it's location based. If you live in London, it's going to be bloody expensive. Like, it basically, you can expect to spend about a tenner where I live, but if you
God.
go to like a city, it can easily be 20 quid to get in.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, of
where I
course.
am here, I think it's maybe £5-6 for popcorn or
Yeah.
something.
Well, I guess, yeah, I don't really know the conversion rate.
The exchange rate roughly is $1.5 to a
Okay.
pound.
Then it sounds about the same then, because here, it can cost an upwards, especially if you're going to like a 3D movie, $10 or more
Yeah.
for a movie, and then for popcorn, a small is like $5.
Mhm.
Like a
Okay,
tiny
but real talk. I don't like 3D films.
Yeah.
Having glasses and then wearing more glasses over your glasses.
I'm
is
exactly the
the
same way.
worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst, especially if like one of them's got like smudges on them, and then the smudges are just like amplified by like infinity.
Yeah.
I know you're sat in the dark, but I just feel like I look ridiculous. And why would you ever want to wear 2 pairs of glasses ever in your whole entire life? Why?
Wearing the 3D glasses alone is possibly the worst experience in my life.
It
hate
just
it.
makes me so angry. Just put everything back in 2D, please.
Well,
please.
you
Yeah.
can go and see everything in 2D still.
There's like I think there's like a limited selection of movies that come out on 3D every year anyways.
Well, one issue
Yeah.
with that though is they're designed to be 3D. Like some of the things that you would, if you
Oh,
watch
yeah.
it in 2D, you're not experiencing it.
Yeah.
Tangled was one like that.
Yeah, but unfortunately, my little brother can't actually like limited people. I think it doesn't work
Right.
for like some people. Like my brother, the 3D doesn't work for him. So
That first horror movie that came out, the big one, Valentine one, I can't remember the name, but I remember like all the scares were things coming at you. And if it's coming at you in 2D, it's not scary.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really
Where
worth
they
it.
purposely do the thing, they're like, whoa, my finger is coming through the screen.
Right, and you're watching in 2D, you're like, okay.
It looks like they're just jabbing at the screen.
How to Train Your Dragon in 3D was very, very good.
Oh, dude.
I'll tell you one thing that was good in 3D. Like, ignoring
Me.
the shittiness of the movie
It's me.
and how
I'm good in
racist the
3D.
movie was and how irritating the plot was, Avatar was beautiful in 3D.
Oh, God, I can't imagine.
I haven't seen that still.
We went to see it at the cinema, and it really was quite stunning in 3D.
You're really quite stunning in 3D.
Thank you. I really appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
Maybe we should change the subject to the fedorable Michael. while we're at it.
Oh!
That image
Oh.
in 3D
Yes.
would be beautiful.
Just Michael making
those
angry
that are-
noises at
Fedora
us
for
for
your
the next
birthday.
half hour. While this picture up on
Wearing
the
a
Michael,
fedora.
screen.
buying you a fedora for your birthday. You can't stop me.
Yes, because I'm fedorable. Now, for those who don't know, we were joking about, like, next time I do an angry face, I should wear a fedora. But I don't have a fedora. So someone photoshopped a fedora on my head.
It was amazing.
And I will link dump you.
It was incredible.
It was pretty
Shout
incredible.
out to the person that did that. You're a genius.
Super genius.
And I'm wondering if you drew that by hand or if you Googled it and picked a drawn fedora and then put it on.
It was awesome. I loved it. Because I've been on my roleplay blog more than I've been on my personal, which I kind of wish I would have kept up after the shit we're going to talk about soon, Michael. And I was just, like, catching up on Michael's blog,
Ooh.
and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, what is going on here? And I just saw the picture with him with the fedora, and I was like, what is happening?
And at the same
What
time,
were we
I'm pretty
gonna
sure
talk
we were talking about the social justice role-playing
Oh,
game
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that's why I came at
so
you
it's
and
like-
anon, because
Jesus.
I was like, no, I'm not logged onto my personal. Wait, I want to be a wizard. But then somebody else claimed to be a wizard, so I was like, I want to be a ninja.
No one
Actually-
else can beat me.
Wiz claimed healer, but I think they should have
Yeah.
been a wizard. You know,
With
the-
wizard
Yeah.
being
the hint is in the name. Yeah, consulting time
I think
wizard.
mine was fairly obvious.
For Jesus Christ.
My favourite is China the berserker. Well, China's my friend, and China watches Rooster Teeth a bit, and I was considering having them as like my co-blog runner,
Ooh.
but China is very aggressive
Oh, man.
when it comes to social justice. Like I paste them the asks that I get sometimes, and they're just like, they're just like, fuck off, you fucking shithead. And I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe not, maybe.
So
maybe not.
eloquent.
Yeah.
See, I probably would have been the same. Because
Yeah.
I have a low tolerance for bullshit, so
Me too.
I will just devolve into a whole pile of fuck you, fuck, every fucking motherfuck.
Well, I tend to reblog you, but then I get really mean. I like say stuff that means something, but I'm not very nice about it.
I tend to be quite level-headed, but I'm often sarcastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sarcastic rather than mean.
right.
I just feel like it's like if a lot of people show red flags that they're not going to have a meaningful conversation with you, they're not trying to learn. So in that
There's
case,
no
I
point
just-
of being like nice or
I
any shit like
immediately
that.
go off.
Yeah.
But if they kind of seem like they just aren't there yet, I'll try to hold their hand a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's on a
Yeah.
case by case basis.
Can I hold your hand?
No,
I
I mean,
hold everyone's
personally,
hand?
I'm just an eternal troll, so
Yeah.
I'm either so I do two. There's two modes. I'm either
Michael
like
is social justice troll.
yeah, I'm a troll. I admit it. I am a troll. I do two things. I'm either really nice. I try to be nice, okay? I try to be a nice person, or I just wind them
fail!
up.
Or you're just like full blown sassy.
kidding.
Just totally
Yeah,
sarcastic.
or I just go sassy, just like total sarcasm, or I
Yeah.
just wind them up. Like the recent anon I got about like someone identifying as a car.
What?
What?
Oh god.
I
no.
didn't see this.
No, it's somewhat like someone was trolling me like, oh, my brother identifies as a car and blah 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 blah.
Oh
and then
no,
I
it was
just posted,
dynamite. It was dynamite or something.
Yeah, first it was dynamite and then it was a car. And an automobile. And so I just posted a picture of a transformer.
Oh, that's what that was about. I was so confused because I just saw Transformers on your blog and I was like, what happened? Did Michael Bay do something?
And then I tagged it Autobots roll out.
Oh my god.
And that's me. That's me being a troll.
Wow.
I mean, sometimes, I don't feel bad trolling people who say disgusting things. That's
Look, if you put shit in my inbox,
right.
it's gonna be it's mine now. I'm gonna troll it.
Yeah, of course.
Ali, you want to talk about a bit about your annoying anon?
Yes, I do. So,
I think I'll start us off because I think it started on my blog.
yeah.
Basically, we got an anon saying that they're Spanish, and I think they were Spanish and gay. They said, and and the fact that Ray making jokes about Hispanic people doesn't
Shouldn't be
bother-
offensive.
Yeah, and it doesn't bother them, so it shouldn't bother anyone else.
Yeah.
And obviously, this person is Spanish, not Hispanic, so that's different. Not the same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally
kind of
different
different,
nationalities, by the way,
completely
people.
different. One's in Europe, one's
Yeah.
not.
Yep.
And then because obviously I'm white, I didn't really want to comment too much on it, so I think I just posted a GIF.
Of Jeff.
Yes, of Jeff
Sighing.
Yes, that's right. And then Ali commented on it, talking about how she felt about it, and I'll let Ali take it from here.
So, like, I had written out, like, admittedly, a pretty long post, so, like, if you guys want to know, it's under the Ali tag, which Michael has set up for me. Yay.
Yeah.
And, I was just talking about, like, just breaking down their posts, like, part by part, and responding to every part. So, after I replied to them, I was like, okay, I publicly responded to them, and Michael reblogged me. I am probably going to be expecting them in my inbox anytime soon. Like, a whole day went by, there was complete quiet on my personal blog, so I was just sticking around on my RP blog. I go on my personal, I see 4 new messages.
Oh dear.
So I go and I check it, and there's just literally full of just text meeting me in my inbox. And I admittedly got a little nervous because I just saw, like, the negative words at first. So I was like, shit, I got a hate anon. I was like, fuck, here we go. But then I read through it, and it was the anon who had sent the ask into Michael's blog, and I don't remember everything that they said because I'd have to be looking at the messages myself. And I basically they were just talking their ridiculous shit again in my inbox and just filling it up with just 4 long messages. I was like, oh, here we go. So I responded to it again. And in the last sentence, because they put a really condescending smiley at the end of their fucking asks.
I hate condescending smileys.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. I do passive
Michael, you're a terrible person.
I know. My passive aggressive
troll.
smiley thing. Yeah.
I do it
I do
sometimes, but like I try not to because I know how freaking annoyed I get whenever I see the condescending smiley. So I was like, I'm just probably not gonna do this. And then they were just like, just kindly remove yourself from the internet or some shit like that. I was like, okay, buddy, here we go. And then
Do you break shit down?
I just went full, like, blown just into it, and I was like, I forgot the last thing that I said, but at the end I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, so kindly remove yourself from my blog and never come back. Thank you. And that's, like, the last thing that I thought I was gonna say. And then half an hour, maybe an hour later, there's 3 new messages in my box, and I was like, oh my god. Filled with the same bullshit. And I was just like, I'm not going to even deal with this. And I deleted them all. I didn't even bother responding. I was just, like, tired of the shit. And I was just like, I just want to be happy and roleplay. Never mind all of this shit. I fucking got another message where they were talking about, like, oh, so if people are triggered by this and this, then what about the people who are triggered by, I don't know, cars or some shit like that? I was like, you're missing the point. You're talking about how much you know about trigger warnings and how you do know how people can get triggered and all of the shit. You clearly defined it. You understand what it is. You showed to me that you understand what trigger warnings are. And then you go and you fucking turn around and say all this ignorant bullshit. Are you kidding me? Like, get over yourself. And then I responded to them, and then I got a bunch of, like, really cute anons after. That was the end of my night. I wake up today, and they're back with 3 more messages.
Do you know the problem, Ali? As someone who's dealt with anons being knobheads a lot, if you give them, like, a centimeter, like, if you give them even, like, a millimeter, they'll take, like, inches and inches and keep going, and it's like, in my experience, it's so stressful to deal with.
Yeah.
That's why I tend to keep stuff on a queue basis. Like, I keep maybe 10 to 20 asks in my draft, and then I release. So, like, that's why there's, like, a delay on
some responses.
Yeah.
This is why I don't have anon on at all. Like, why I don't have asking on at all.
Yeah.
I can't deal with negativity from people.
I mean, because in my experience, if I'm getting a troll in, then if I don't respond for, like, a couple of days, then they don't tend to come back because they get bored of waiting for it.
See, yeah. I'm lucky that works for you, but, like, when I had my really terrible...
No, yours was an actual stalker, though. Like, the anons I get are just, you know, random annoying people. I got one from what's it called, 4chan. the other day.
Really?
Someone from 4chan. Yeah, apparently my blog's been posted on B, but I was like, you're from 4chan.
It's
I've got
just
it.
now been posted there. It seems like it should have been posted a while ago.
Yeah.
I think it's been posted a few times, but I haven't really been paying attention. Like, if my analytics are to be believed, it's been posted before, but mostly Reddit is.
Yeah.
I get
I was
posted a
gonna
lot
say
on Reddit.
Reddit. I was
Yeah.
confused with both of them, but I know that 4chan is like,
4chan's a little worse than Reddit.
yeah.
Well, I just got a heads up from my cyber stalker the other day. Have you ever heard of Governments Gets Girlfriends?
What?
I think actually I vaguely
It's a
have.
Reddit. It's mostly on Reddit, but I talked about him a long time ago. I jokingly was like, hey, if someone could find out who this guy is, that would be good, because he was literally talking about murdering his parents.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And things like that. And then after that, he decided that he would threaten to dox me, and
What
has
does that mean?
find out my name, address, phone number, work,
Holy
all that stuff,
shit.
My
and
goodness.
post it on the internet for
my God.
people to.
Horrible.
But he's been quiet, at least towards me, for a while. But he used to, anytime somebody would threaten to dox him, he would say, well, then I'm going to dox her. And I'm like, I'm not even involved in this.
What the fuck?
No, you're not.
But
Well,
because
to be
it was-
honest, he can't. Like, the amount of time that gets bloody threatened, but it takes more than people think to find out that stuff.
You know,
Does
I'm not the
it?
most careful.
Does it really? Because my dad's work address was found really easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, Roo, like, you don't really take a lot of measures to protect yourself.
That's
Like, you...
yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you use the same name for, like, everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help. Like, my Facebook and stuff is on a completely separate email and everything to
Yeah, I
my
just like
feminist Roost 2
normally.
stuff.
The thing is, normally I don't care. It's the fact. It was more the fact that they deliberately went out of their way to find like my parents, and I don't
Right.
give my parents' names out. Like they found out my parents' names and where my parents work and sent it to me, and I was just
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Yeah, that person was really creepy.
Yeah.
I think you did the best thing that you could have by just disabling your asks.
yeah.
Well, for me, I have a tendency to go against people who I think are like dangerous, and that's why I go against them, because I'm like, someone needs to stop this person. But then I think, oh wait, if they're so dangerous, I'm thinking of like getting police involved in just what they're saying they're gonna do. Maybe I should do this anonymously.
Right.
Yeah.
But I always think about that too late and don't realize, like, if they're that type of person, they're that type of person who's gonna try to hurt me as well. So I mean, I've gotten lots of doxing threats and stuff because I just have a big mouth and don't really think
Yeah, but-
before I jump into these things.
For all the times that you've been threatened, have you ever been doxxed, though?
Yes, I've had police sent to my mother's house
Oh my god.
Wow.
because in the state that I was living in at the time, there was a law on the books called criminal defamation, and if you like intentionally defame somebody, you can get like some sort of legal trouble, not just being sued, but like some sort of official legal trouble.
Mhm.
And the guy was claiming that I was lying about him.
Oh my god.
It was very clear I wasn't. There was tons of witnesses, evidence I wasn't lying about him. But because, the police weren't exactly doing their jobs, correctly, they sent police to my mother's house where I wasn't living.
Wow.
Yeah,
Looking
gotta love the
for me.
place.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Usually whenever I get involved into stuff like that, because I don't ever often get into fights, because fights aren't my thing. I will get mad at people, I will, but if I get into any sort of confrontations, I will tuck tail and run. Because I'm absolutely terrible at fighting. I get anxious,
Right.
I start shaking, I start like gibbering, and I'm like panicking and all that stuff. So like things like this, it takes me a while to really properly get into. So the times that I have gotten into fights with people, like after a while they just don't bother with me. So I guess I'm just kind of like sort of
I'm
lucky
always
in that
the one
prospect.
they go after.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this kind of situation, I actually at some point got a little nervous because this person is like full blown anonymous, and this is the first time I've ever
Right.
had any sort of anonymous confrontation like this, in this sense before, and I knew right away after the second slew of messages, I was like, yeah, I can't put up with this. I need to do something to keep this person away. So, like, right after I got all the messages, right after I responded to these last 2 messages that I got, I was like, that's it. Like, I'm disabling Anon, and if need be, I will disable everything else and keep people from contacting me on here. So, and I'm going to try to keep my other accounts, like, as separate as possible from my personal so that people do not find me on there and start.
Yeah.
This message that I got, I showed it to Michael. I showed Michael, like, all the messages that I got besides the second half or whatever. And I was just like, oh, God. Like, this guy did not know when to quit. He just kept pushing his point. And I was like, you're totally missing the actual point of everything that I've been saying.
They always
it's like
do
that image where it's a person on a rocket and it's
I love that one.
Exactly.
The point.
That's my favorite.
Exactly. Yeah. They were like, I have the message pulled up. The one part that I was super, like, sassy and sarcastic about was when they were like, and not dealing with me doesn't change the issue that you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about, and your only goal is not to make the internet content better for everyone. You just want to make the content better for you. And I was like, yes, oh my god, let's adjust the content to what I say. It has to be to what I personally like. Let's go petition to Rooster Teeth. And I was like, there you go.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. It's like the point just, sails past their heads.
Yeah.
Like, very often, because, like, it's not that we don't want them to, because, like, there are loads of triggers. I understand that there are loads of triggers in the world, and they can't avoid every single trigger. It's about warning for triggers more than anything.
Yeah.
But
It's
also
like-
being conscientious of, like, obvious triggers.
Well, there are
that
certain things that it's
so many people have.
it's never appropriate to say. Like, it's never appropriate to do rape jokes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's never appropriate to use certain slurs. But, like, just because we talk about things on the blog doesn't mean that we necessarily expect Rooster Teeth to implement them. And with that, I mean, I'm talking about, like, the casual ableism. Like, the certain words that people use that some people say it's ableist, some people say it's not. It is technically ableist, but I don't expect them to stop using, like, stupid, sorry to use it, but...
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things that we have a long way to go on that front.
Yeah.
Well,
There's so much.
I don't think, it would be nice if, like, they already do it for certain slurs. Like, because Jeff is pro-gay and pro-queer, he doesn't, it's a rule that they don't use a certain gay slur. And, like, if they can do it for that, I don't understand why they can't do it for other slurs, like the R word and, like, like, rape jokes and stuff like that. The really bad stuff, there's no reason why they have to have that in.
Yeah.
I think ableism is one of the most accepted forms of bigotry, though, currently. I mean, people just don't want to think about... It's so deeply ingrained in people, and they don't want to change their behavior, and they really do think that there's something wrong with disabled people. So it's like... It's very hard to get people to open their eyes on that for some reason.
Yeah, it is difficult. And, like... But to their credit, they have been doing better. If you disregard latest incidents, there's been a couple lately, over the past couple of days. But I mean, they have been doing better on both rape jokes, and the R word has been really good. And Gavin's been really good on saying a certain word as well. He did say it lately, but before that I hadn't heard it for ages. So.
I just wanted to bring up the last point, which was the original point that they were making, which was that, like, Hispanics shouldn't be offended when jokes are made at their expense from the Anon. And I was like, look, okay, first of all, when a person says to somebody who's completely, like, ignorant, what do they think a Hispanic is? They're gonna think Mexicans immediately, right? They're gonna think the sombreros, the tacos, the donkeys, all of that shit, completely forgetting that people like Peruvians, Colombians, Argentinians, everybody from South America exists, and it's not to, like, be like that Mexicans are bad, because they're not. It's just they're not the only Hispanics that exist
and
in
the
the
stereotype.
world.
Yeah,
so
it's like
stereotype as well.
It's like when people say Asia, they think Chinese.
Yeah,
Is that the same
exactly.
thing?
Exactly. So it's kind of like when any sort of joke, any sort of stereotype, anything like that is made at our expense, it's really setting us back.
It erases a lot of people from the Hispanic kind of
Yeah, exactly.
community.
So it's really tiring to have to
Yeah.
put up with that shit. Some people might not be offended, sure, great for them, but other people are, and you shouldn't fucking shame them for being offended by it. You know?
Well, it's the thing where, like, because he is Puerto Rican, he can make jokes if he wants to, but it's about social responsibility as well. Like, if Ray was just making jokes amongst his friends, that would be okay, but he's making jokes to hundreds of thousands of people.
That's the thing I have a problem with. Like, people who are in these positions don't seem to understand that they have more of a responsibility. Like, they are, I'd say they're not famous, but people know them, they follow them, they have this kind of platform in which they can speak, and if they abuse that, then they have to kind of realise that people are going to speak out against them because they have that kind of not really elevated status, but they've got kind of more opportunity to share what they're saying, and they need to take responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. They have a wider variety of people to talk to.
But they also aren't just talking to their friends who they know. Their friends know they're joking. They know their friends aren't hurt by it. They're talking to a legion of people who, many of which will be hurt by it.
And it's not just the people. I mean, it's not just the people that are going to be hurt by it either. Like, the people who are going to be hurt by it and the minorities are important, but it's about the fact that they're backing up views for people who aren't going to be offended or aren't going to be hurt by it, who use these words and use these stereotypes in everyday life. And it's about how setting that example. That's why I don't have as much of a problem when they make gay jokes, because there's like they don't tend to make really offensive gay jokes anyway, but when they do make them, I don't have as much of a wince about it, because Jeff is pretty careful to set a good example about how you should behave toward gay people and queer people. Like, he's always like, even if they do make a gay joke, he's like, not that there's anything wrong with being gay, and he verbalizes that example that's set so that it's clear in the viewers' minds, like what's appropriate and what isn't. And when that doesn't really happen with other things, that with anything else Rooster Teeth does, to be honest.
It's like when it's like, there's a very, very good article about why rape jokes are like kind of perpetuate the idea in rapists' minds that what they're doing isn't wrong. And I can find it.
Shouldn't be taken seriously and everything like that.
I have it.
If you could find it to link dump it, but I know what you're talking about. There's the because rapists they don't think that what they're doing is particularly wrong. Well, they do know it's wrong, but they think everyone else does it as well.
Yeah, that's the article that I'm thinking about.
Yeah, they think everyone else does it as well, and they think that people just hide it better, or they're all hiding it. And so when you make a rape joke, it's kind of telling that rapist that, yes, everyone's on your side, it's not a big deal,
and then
stuff like that.
And it's wrong.
Especially with, like, coercive rape and the things that people tend to call gray rape, which I think is ridiculous, but those things that are so much more normalized, and the jokes that reinforce that are especially problematic, because most people associate the stranger in the bushes with obviously wrong, but when you think about, like, your acquaintance, your boyfriend, your husband, then it becomes an issue of people don't think it's so wrong, and when you normalize that to a rapist who is doing that, then that's when you reinforce what they think.
Yeah, and I mean, the vast majority of rapes are committed by people that you know, so
exactly.
It's not. It's very rare for it to be a person in the bush lunges at you and violently rapes someone.
We're going to need a trigger warning for this section.
Yeah.
Oh, we're absolutely going to need a trigger warning for this.
There is an episode of SVU that I actually saw. It was a new episode that I saw the other day. It's a very incredibly triggering, very upsetting episode. So this is really, really, really just, I'm just saying this for people to take this carefully. For anybody who does choose to watch this, it's incredibly upsetting. I couldn't even get through it without feeling upset myself. And it's about a rape comic. Like, he literally does nothing but make stand-up rape jokes, and the whole episode proves a very good example of how seriously people should take that kind of humor. And I put that in quotations. And for anybody who could probably stomach watching it, it's a recommendation because it's a really important example, I think.
Do you know what episode it was?
It was one of the recent episodes. I forgot. I'll link down the IMDb article with the name of the episode.
That'd be good, yeah.
Yeah, but it's one of the newer episodes. It premiered like a couple of weeks ago, and I watched it, and it was ridiculous. Just like how far it went, where it was just the people were like, oh, but he's just making a joke. You know, it shouldn't be taken seriously. It's not like he's actually raping people, and it's like.
But then it turns out he was.
Yeah, yeah, actually, yeah.
But unfortunately, a lot of people, instead of like paying attention to that episode, got up in arms because they were saying that they were trying to mimic Tosh.
Daniel Tosh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And saying, oh, now they're calling Daniel Tosh a rapist. It's like...
Nope.
They're borrowing from real life to tell a story. Like, they're not saying this is Daniel Tosh.
Yeah.
But they definitely, like, let that overshadow, you know, the rest of the episode.
It always bloody happens that way, like, though. Like, if it's a bloody white guy being talked about, it's always like, oh, no, you can't call him a rapist. But, like, if they depicted, like, someone being raped, it would just be, oh, that's comedy.
Yeah. I watched that episode. I thought about, like, the discussions that we've had in the past whenever somebody makes a joke at any victim's expense about any sort of, like, rape joke. It's just like, look, you think it's innocent words, but you don't know what it's putting a person through. And when you try to say things like, oh, but, you know, they're not going to change, you're literally just calling them shitty people.
It affects people more than you think.
Exactly.
I guess what is being said.
Yeah, I got an anon. No, it wasn't an anon, actually. It was
a submission.
It was a submission. It was a massive wall of text, so I couldn't really post it. I'm talking, it was like, it had to be about 1,000 words of just solid text. Like, there were no paragraph breaks or anything. And normally I might have posted it, but I just couldn't with, like, it would just, like, I could barely get through it. Anyway. But they were talking about how, like, the content's gone downhill since they've started censoring themselves a bit more. And I'm like, well, if you really think that, like, less rape jokes and less use of, like, the R word is, like, the content going downhill, then, like, I have no
You really need to reevaluate yourself, buddy.
Right. If that's your sense of humor.
To the person who wrote that, literally go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say to you.
It just means you're mean-spirited. If that's what your sense of humor is, you're just mean-spirited.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what really irritates me? It's when these anons are, like, I prefer not, I'm happy if they're polite, but it's when they make these accusations and these points, like, and then encase it in, like, a polite kind of wording.
Right.
And then expect me to give a shit just because it's polite. It's like,
they're a tone troll.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, look, even if it is polite, because it was polite, I gave them the thing saying sorry, but I'm not going to post it. That I did that because it was polite. But, like, I'm not obligated to answer anything. So
the problem is,
or politely,
the people who come to your blog and say things like, I don't understand why you're doing this, you know, I'm not offended by it. Well, you're bloody lucky that you're not offended by it and that you haven't been through something that triggers you. You are so lucky that you have that privilege, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky because I don't really have any triggers. I have, like, one very rare trigger. And only really, I'll talk about it a bit. I have a molestation trigger, especially with boys. But it only really bothers me if I relate strongly to the character and if it's a surprise. So, like, the only, like, time I've really been triggered by it lately is, like, the perks of being Wallflower. Because, like, the main character was a writer, I'm a writer, and, like, I identified quite strongly with the character. And then, like, they did this, it was ridiculous, like, last minute plot twist that he'd been molested by his aunt.
I've read that book, and that, like, that part was completely unnecessary in my point.
I know, it made me so angry because not only did it trigger me, but it was absolutely necessary to the story.
Yeah,
it's just
it was
it's just
used-
like final twist. I was so pissed off.
It was kind
But,
of
like,
used as a way for the character to relate to the female like character, his love interest in it, because they've
Yeah.
gone through the same thing, and it's like you can't use something like that as a plot device.
Yeah, you can't use it as a plot device, and it also irritated me because it drew away the focus from her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm not here to talk about how annoyed I am at Pets being wallplay. It was just an example. So that's my trigger, and like, but I'm not triggered by anything else, which is what allows me to run the blog that I run, because like
Right.
pretty much everything that Anon's thrown at me I don't give a shit. So
But that's
Right.
the thing they don't seem to understand ever. People don't seem to understand that you're not triggered by everything that you trigger warn for or post about.
yeah,
You're warning
Yeah.
for other people that might have that as something that triggers them.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not even about triggers. It's about, I don't have the wherewithal right now to read something about rape, even if I'm not triggered by rape, something like that. Right now I can't wrap my head around it. I would like to have the option of not starting something and then realizing, oh, this is something that's going to really put me in just a bad mood,
Yeah.
or I'm already in a bad mood. Like, the ability to know and avoid things.
Yeah.
I don't understand, like, saying that there's something wrong with, like, being helpful to other people, helping them avoid something they maybe don't want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I've said it once and I'll say it again. People don't seem to understand that trigger warnings are not a judgment on content.
No.
Right.
It's literally saying this is a thing that you want to avoid.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. It's not a discussion. It's nothing. It's not anything. It's not saying, oh, there's the horrible people. It's just that
Yeah.
this happens. You can
Yeah.
avoid it at this timestamp. It's like, that's
Right.
it.
Yeah, there's like 2 points that I wanted to bring up. One, which was based off of what you just said. We're not fucking calling them horrible people. When you come in here and you defend them and defend them, I put that in quotations, saying that they're just going to continue their shitty humor. You're the one that's painting them as shitty people, and they're really not. I believe that these employees, these people, are perfectly capable of not saying a single fucking word in their jokes,
Jokes
with no
in,
problem.
Quotation
In
marks.
quotations, exactly. I use it.
Or edit it out.
Yeah. Also a very, very good point. Why don't you just
Yeah.
edit it out?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, because like a lot of people say that, oh, sometimes it's said in the heat of the moment, and I totally understand that. Like, we do the podcast.
Right.
Sometimes words get said that we don't really want to say. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
And I understand that it happens, but like there's an editing process, and like you can choose whether or not to keep that word in, and then even if you do choose to keep the word in, you can then choose the trigger warning for the word. So
Exactly.
there are
I
steps you can take.
I make a concerted effort to remove any sort of slip ups that we make, that I know that we are, we're clearly like, oh shit, sorry, I'm sorry I said that. I take that out, no problem. It's no, extra effort for me. It's just the same thing. So when that Anon, because I read a specific part of this, not the Anon, sorry, the submission that you got, that specific part where they were like, you're ruining the content. Now especially with Ray complaining about how they have to watch what they say. Like, grow the fuck up,
You have to be
please.
God, guys, like, they have to be decent people. Like, whoa.
But like I know I personally have a history of being horrible when I was younger. Like
Oh yes.
I'm nearing 30 now. So like when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I was awful. I thought offensive jokes were so funny and like all that stuff. And then I got a wake up call and I changed my behavior, and it was like the process of confronting myself was the hardest part. Being
Yeah.
like, you've
Yeah.
hurt other people and you've even hurt yourself, like with misogyny and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's the hard part. But once you get over that hurdle, it's not that hard to adjust to it.
Yeah.
And if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, I was the same way. Like, I used to be I wouldn't say I used to be an arsehole, but I used to be like, about the average teenager they'd expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially a teenager who considers himself to be quite intelligent and quite above it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I used to be a bit of a a cock that way, but
Michael, you're still a bit of a cock.
yeah, a little bit. But I think it's like an evolution of thinking in a way, because like you start off and then you start thinking about stuff and then you think, oh well, words shouldn't matter because they're just words.
Yeah.
And like you start thinking about like well, it doesn't have to mean anything. If you give them power by
Right.
assigning meaning to
I
it.
agree with that with like
Yeah.
words like fuck and shit. Okay, just like
Yeah,
non
but like
gendered
Right.
or ableist or anything language like that.
yeah, I wasn't arguing that it is actually like that. I'm just saying
No,
it's like
no,
the
no,
process of going through thinking. Like, so
Yeah.
I did think that for a while, and then I kind of reevaluated on it, and I was like, well, even if you do give these words power by assigning that kind of meaning to it, it still means that to some people, and it's still used that way.
Yeah.
And so it's still important, and it's still important to avoid it because of what those words can bring up.
Yeah.
Like, whether
Yeah.
you like it or not, words have meaning. And it's not just slurs that have meaning and slurs that have power. All words have meaning. And to say that slurs should be devoid of meaning is kind of silly.
Yeah.
But it's often people who aren't affected by the word that they're trying to use a word that doesn't affect them
Yeah.
and tell somebody else, well, you're just giving it power. It's like, that's easy for you to say. That doesn't
Yeah.
affect you.
Yeah.
So of course you think it's not powerful, because when you hear it, you don't cringe, you don't get flashbacks to some instance where it was used against you. Like, to you, it's fine.
Yeah. The word freak is like that for me, because it was used negatively for me, and it was literally the first time that I had ever heard it, but it affected me in a terrible, terrible way that I couldn't like think, and even hearing it sometimes it still really like affects me. Like even just saying it right now, I'm just kind of like, ugh.
Oh.
Yeah.
But of course,
Amazing. And you're not anything to do with what they said ever, okay?
people suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I know that you wanted to say something, Michael, but I wanted to sort of quickly say on what Jess said, which was that when you grew up, you started realizing what the words can do, which was a thing that the Anon said, which was when you grow up, you start to realize that people are just going to be shitty and you just get over it. And being immature means that you get so offended by all of this shit. I'm like, come on, the fuck
it's literally
on.
the reverse. It takes way
Yeah.
more maturity to care about people than it does to care about people and how people are feeling and not triggering them than it does to not care.
Yeah.
That person's just jaded. I mean, that's not maturity to be jaded.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
just jadedness. It's laziness in a way as well, because
That
it's about not changing your own behavior, and when it comes down to it, it's just an unwillingness. Like, I used to say all these words, and once you get used to it, it's not hard to stop yourself from saying them and replace certain vocabulary. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I try not to even use casually ableist words anymore, and
Yeah.
like. I still do slip up very occasionally, but it's pretty much not a problem for me not to use it anymore, so...
It's definitely not a problem in writing, but I do struggle with it in speaking, especially because it's so common.
Yeah.
But then again, I catch myself and I try to use words like ridiculous,
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
absurd,
Yeah.
obnoxious, like things that don't hurt anybody, that can replace these words that most people just casually use because they aren't thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming off of that, I actually wanted to say thank you to everyone. Like, I guess specifically you, Michael, because it's through being a part of this and learning through the things that you post why things are harmful that I've actually managed to grow up and figure out why I shouldn't say things and like generally be a better person, I think, because I'm not hurting anyone with the language that I use.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much thanks to the fact that I found your blog and was able to learn and grow and just thanks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, see, that's the good thing about Tumblr, because like that's
Right.
if you turn that around, I've done a lot of learning from Tumblr myself. from
Yeah,
people that I followed on by, well, I don't have a personal blog anymore really, but when I did have a personal blog, from people that I followed on my personal blog, learning and just growing as a person. And and that's what's good about Tumblr. I mean, there are some instances where Tumblr does take things too far, and they do not have a tendency to fact check very often. But
Yes. Yes.
But as a whole, I think that's what's really cool about Tumblr, because it's just like this passing on of knowledge.
Well, I think it's a commitment to change, though, that people aren't willing to make. It's like a commitment to... a lot of people are content being less racist, less sexist, less homophobic, etc. than other people, and that's where they stop. And it's like you have to realize it's an ongoing process over the course of your entire life to get rid of this social conditioning that even if you're personally making, attempts to grow, you're still watching TV, you're still listening to the radio, reading magazines that are throwing it right back in your face. Everything you're trying to unlearn, you're relearning it every day. So it's a constant process that people don't recognize. They don't think it's worthwhile. It's too much work.
Yeah, and then to those people who are like, well, you should just deal with it, is basically going up to everybody who has ever suffered any sort of harassment, any sort of like trying to cope with the fact that there are those slurs, those words, those jokes in quotes out there that people will openly say to their face, and they have to put on a brave smile. They're basically saying to those people, adding on to the get over it idea, and not the let me help you deal with that better idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that people say that you're looking for something to get offended by, and it's not that you're looking for something to get offended by, it's that literally pretty much everything has something offensive in it. And it's
disguised as humour.
It's really frustrating, because once you start seeing this stuff, you can't really turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the media I watch now, I'm sat there like, oh god.
Have you seen that Onion article, Feminist takes a half hour off to enjoy television?
Yeah.
I try to do that when I go to the cinema, to be honest. I just try to I try to switch it off, and I'm like, unless it's really pissing me off, I'll just
I tell you what I don't like to watch ever, like comedy. Just like stand-up comedy.
Oh man, I actually have something on my list. I've got Michael McIntyre on my list.
Yeah.
Which is stand-up comedy, which is funny. So, but thank you for the segue.
That's alright. I can't watch stand-up comedy because there are so many jokes about like people like me, and I
watched Michael McIntyre, and he was hilarious. He was really funny. There were some issues with some sexism and some sexism in some of his jokes, but for the most part, it was fairly clean stand-up comedy that was really funny. So yeah, check out Michael McIntyre. He's funny. He's actually funny and not horrible.
I like his hair
generally.
flopping around. The way his hair flops is funny.
He does make a lot of gay jokes because he's a bit camp, and so he kind of makes some gay jokes about being camp, because a lot of people make assumptions based on the fact that he is a bit camp.
What does that mean?
It means that
How do I explain?
It means a bit metrosexual.
Flamboyant.
Yeah, flamboyant.
Oh, okay. Alright. I was like,
have you not heard that
about?
term? Is that not a term that...
Never heard it before.
Huh.
Yeah, I know what it means, but I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. It means
stereotypical.
Yeah. Stereotypically gay. Or... Yeah. But mainly it just means flamboyant or metrosexual, so...
Yeah. I think that the biggest problem with people whenever they think of, like, any humor not including anything sort of offensive in it, they think that it's children humor. They automatically flip off like to the other end of the spectrum of humor and think that it's gonna be, what did the door say to the other door when they hit each other? And some like weird shit like that.
No, what did they say?
I don't know, I just made it up.
Abby, you can't just start jokes like that, come on.
I don't know, bang.
But you say that, you say children's humour, but my sister's 12, she watches things on like the Disney Channel sometimes and other places like that. And the amount, like, they still manage to shove in too many jokes about, like, people like me. And it's just like, why are you doing this to people who are too young to understand?
Yeah.
A man dressed like a woman is the funniest thing on a kids' TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rooster Teeth did that recently.
Funny. Go
Yeah.
fuck yourself. We're not jokes for you.
Yeah.
We're actual people with feelings, and we're not funny. We're not people to be laughed at.
Exactly.
It makes me so angry.
Yes,
So
it's
angry.
annoying. But we should think about closing. It is getting a bit on. I want out 80 minutes. But I thought we should end on a positive note. So,
Okay.
yeah. Equal marriage
positive
is
is real
being
good.
implemented in the UK this Saturday. So people will be able to get married this Saturday. Gay people, queer people, all sorts of people. Awesome. This Saturday, starting marriage. Yay.
Yay!
Marriage.
There's a couple that are having it broadcast, and they're making it into a musical.
Marriage.
I think my favorite
Marriage.
thing, whenever I think about like positive stuff, there was a post that went around that I saw that actually really cheered me up, which was when you wake up today, you got to think about like somebody's birthday is today, somebody's getting married today, somebody had opened up their like college acceptance letter today, something like cute stuff like that, and then I was like, oh, somebody's getting married today, and then I was
Well,
like,
when you wake up on Saturday in the UK,
somebody's
queer
gonna get
people
married.
will be getting married.
Dude, yeah. Oh god, it's the greatest thing to think about. So everybody, whenever you wake up on Saturday, think about all of the people who are going to be able to finally have the ability to get married to the
Yes.
one that they fucking adore and love for the rest of their lives.
All the people that are going to ruin the sanctity of marriage and drag the
Yeah.
UK into a hell or something.
And corrupt the children and
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
the ones causing the flooding.
Gay
Yada,
agenda.
Oh my god. That was awesome. Oh goodness.
Gay agenda to get gay married.
Gay agenda. That's just the thing that everybody should just yell,
Everything gay.
run around. Gay agenda! Just
Gay
run away.
agenda.
Oh goodness.
My gay agenda. There should be a TV show just called My Gay Agenda.
Michael.
And then it's just gay
On
people.
CNN.
And then it's just gay
I used to-
people.
You're on my gay agenda.
And
I
then-
used to think that literally when I was a kid. I used to think that whenever people would say, "Oh, you're just doing this for your agenda," I used to think that they had like a little booklet and they
We
had
do.
like the events listed.
We do. Ali, we do. We
But there
cross
should
things
be,
off
there
as
should
it
be
gets
like
done.
a TV show called My Gay Agenda, and then it's just gay people just living their lives normally. Just like
They
they're
are
going to
my
their
sweet
gay
16,
work,
my gay
and they're
agenda.
like parking up at their
dog.
gay car at the gay supermarket, and going in for a gay milk.
Infiltrating, infiltrating the straight bars.
Oh shit!
Oh!
Oh my god.
Okay.
I like how we went from like some really serious ass shit to gay agenda.
Gay agenda. Right. Okay, we should probably end it now. Does anyone have anything they want to plug?
I have a thing.
Ali, I know you have a thing. You plug your
I
thing.
have a thing. Okay, so I'm gonna be as brief as possible. I talked about this on the last podcast, but in case you guys are just tuning in, I have a Pokemon giveaway coming up very, very soon. I currently have most of the Pokemon organized. I bought myself Pokebank, so I have the rest of the year to store the Pokemon. This is strictly for Pokemon X and Y because that is the Pokemon that I have, the game that I have with all the Pokemon in them. I am giving away legendaries, Eevee evolutions, all the starters, and some extra Pokemon
Ooh.
that are higher level that I don't want anymore. So you guys can play with them in Pokemon Amy and enjoy the cuteness that is of all these Pokemon. So I will be posting it on my blog. And I'll have all the rules posted and all of the Pokemon, all the levels, all that details posted. So tune in for that. Woohoo!
Yay! So if there's just that one Pokemon that you can't catch to catch them all, go get Ali's blog giveaway. thing.
Yeah! And then I'll be doing another giveaway after that for all of the rest of the Pokemon that I don't want or need.
Gotta
So you
catch
can
'em.
fill up
Kyogre.
What? Oh, I have that in the legendaries list actually.
Does anyone else want to plug anything?
Ooh, I do.
Okay, plug the thing.
Okay, so it's not up and running just yet, but me and a friend might be working on a webcomic. I'd give more details than that, but I actually haven't got any, so this is kind of useless. But yeah, we might be working on a webcomic, so...
God damn it, Rue.
I'm sorry. So there might be more information about that in later podcasts if you would be interested. Webcomics.
What's it going to be about?
It probably sounds really silly, but it's this idea about people who work as gardeners, and the people that they work for are very lonely, and so they start up this kind of covert operation to get lonely people together, kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cute.
So.
Okay, Jess, do you have anything you want to plug?
Well, you can go to my blog, moneymud.tumblr.com. You can check out my YouTube. My YouTube name is Jesse Pops Off. I'll give you the link.
Yay.
And eventually I will hopefully have my own podcast, but I'm in a weird transitional period right now. After that, I will totally have it.
What's your podcast going to be about?
Well, I was going to start one up with some girlfriends I've had online for like 5 years, 5-6 years, a really long time. Just kind of general discussion amongst feminists, so that like the discussion will be like a bunch of topics, but like from people who aren't going to be jerks.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but that's something I've had kind of working on for a while, but then I had a big transition, so I haven't been able to start it yet, but I'm definitely kind of amping up to get that going. But just if you follow me on Tumblr, then I will obviously announce it on there. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do the thing, guys.
Yeah, that sounds super cool. Super cool.
Awesome.
Right, I'm Feminist Rooster Teeth, and I don't have any news or things going on at the
You
moment, so-
suck. I'm kidding.
Except your fedora.
Except your
Except my
fedora.
awesome fedora here. Lady. Yeah, so I'm Feminist Rooster Teeth, and you can reach me at feministroosterteeth.tumblr.com, feministrt on Twitter, and you can email us at feministroosterteeth@gmail.com. So,
Yeah.
Yay. And also you can maybe follow my personal YouTube, which is Inkwat, but I haven't really done anything with it yet, but I will be. So
Soon.
soon.
That sounds ominous.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye bye.
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 Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, time
Bye.
for profiteroles.
Bye.
Time for. Yeah.
Tease it. Django. Tease it.